Hello, CAA group. Paul Rayburn back here again to share an update with you on the Shiny package we've been building to run Charlie Abramitis' presentation of the ADF to CMS with decision trees. So let me just show you where we've gotten to here. Get rid of me. Okay, so you can search this the presentation by Charlie on the group forum documents or in the discussions and chats. And I'll also include a copy of this in our file folder that we'll share. Okay, so I'm going to put that up on GitHub again. But let me just show you what we've got here. So yeah, for some brief background here on it. So we initially started building it with Claude Code. I basically, researched it and asked Claude, gave it the information to create a Shiny application. So again, and this is all in the last like 2 to 3 weeks kind of thing. So I am learning a lot and and finding out how powerful these tools are. So again, I'm of the mind that I think we should, whenever possible, try and build reproducible applications that don't necessarily require AI to do all the repetitive and reproducible tasks. So we can build applications that can make things streamlined and simplified for the users. For folks that can read and write the code, fantastic. But my path, if you followed my path, that wasn't my path, and that's not everyone's path. So that's why I've sort of embraced this building of Shiny applications, and there's other applications that can be used to do similar, but Shiny works well, plays well with R, and so far it's been great. So I've got other videos on that. You can look into that about how, building with Claude Code or Codex, or I've tried Gemini. And what we're looking at here, this is a Visual Studio Code interface. It's very similar to the Positron. New Positron is slightly lighter. Positron uses up more memory, and my machine's running low with sort of the work and applications that I got going. So you could see some of the discussion that I was having here this discussion, the chat panel here, just tuning up some minor details in the last last hour or so here, and I got it to a point where it's looking pretty good, just fine tuning it. So what you're going to do is you're going to come into so likely your first presentation to it is hopefully going to be through GitHub, and I will share the link to this one here. I shared the column mapper, so I've got sort of 3 apps going on right now. I've got the column mapper, which is the first one I shared. This one here, this is Charlie Abramitis to ADF to CMS decision trees. That's just what I've labeled it here for the app. And also a little app called the merge mapper, and you can sort of see that here. So the idea is that you can use any one of these individually, and eventually I'll sort of tie them all together into one cohesive kind of app. So you can use merge mapper to combine columns, clean up some data with some quality diagnostics, create like Charlie's got a sale by quarter, so you can automatically create that that data column, so that's already in your data. We could build that into the app as well, so you could skip this, but it's just sort of a general purpose tool that might allow you to do some more upfront work with your data, and I think you'll find it pretty intuitive. So let me just carry on here. So you will get to the CADF decision trees, and again, GitHub, I know there's some I don't know, maybe some misconceptions about GitHub. This is a private repo. It's as private as any online storage tool you're going to use, whether it's like OneDrive or Dropbox or Box or your Gmail. It is a private repo. So maybe years ago they had they didn't offer private. It was either paid public account, paid corporate sort of user accounts that they could have private, or if you wanted to have it free, then you had to, you had to have public. But now for the last several years, they've offered a private free version, and of course there's upgrades if you want it paid, but all you need is the private free version. And some of these applications here, I do intend, like the merge mapper and column mapper, just to make those open, shared. They don't need to be private. There's nothing super proprietary about them. The main application, Shiny app, I've been working on, yeah, it's a lot of work gone into that, and I think for it to sustain itself, it needs to sort of be proprietary for our group, for starters. And we'll build on that, and we can talk more about that. But okay, with no further ado, let me get into this. Okay, so your introduction will be that you hopefully will set up GitHub and GitHub Desktop, and you will come into it like this, and you'll be able to create a branch. So you'll be able to and I've created other videos to show you how to do that. There's other, and I've provided also links, and maybe I'll provide one in here again as well for learning how to use GitHub. It's not rocket science. There are a lot of options, so I don't want to underestimate that too. It's not ridiculously simple, but compared to lots of other things, it's pretty straightforward. So all right, so you're going to download that. You're going to get that into what I have, and you'll probably hopefully do something similar. You'll have a folder that is like Git repo, so it's just one off my root directory, one subfolder, Git repos, and then within that I have, these are all, well, this is a full subset under here, but this is my CA demo files and stuff that I'm working on. So here's where I have built this app here. So you have something like this, and you might have a subfolder, and then this is your repo. So so you have decision trees directly tied to that, and also to that, which is also the website. Now you're just seeing it's selected a file within that sample data. Okay. So again, if I was using a command line interface, I would work with it right in this folder here. I would open in terminal there. That popped up a little window over here. Put that there for you. And I would type in, let's just say cloud. It might take a minute or two to load. Gemini, well, Claude's fast. Gemini seems to take like over a minute. Now, I don't know, maybe they're just experiencing a lot of traffic because they've just released that new model. And here it's showing at Opus 4.5. I think that's a recent upgrade. So you can switch the model. I think it's /model, or is it? Yeah, hang on a second. Let's see here. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, it's /model. You can, Opus. So Sonnet 4.5 is best for everyday tasks. Okay, so generally Sonnet 4.5 has been said to be the best for coding, but I think this Opus 4.5 is a new release, so we'll have to maybe do a bit of research on that. But anyway, okay, so I'm not going to do the coding right now, but that's how easy it is. Once you just get this set up, you can do it through this command line interface like that. And again, then it's just like you switch your model there or whatever, but then it's just like, tell me about this app. I mean, just like any other AI interface you're going to use. Okay, well, that's going in the background here. It's digging up, telling us about the app. Let me just carry on here, and I'm going to fire up the app. So you're gonna use run app. There's launch app and there's run app. And this is just sort of a leaner launch. This one ensures that all the packages are loading and all that kind of stuff. You might have to update some packages. Now it looks like I already got something running in the background here. So I'm just gonna, oh yeah, that was the merge mapper that you saw initially. And okay, so I'm just gonna run that again. Run app. Now, when we get this hosted, you'll just be, log in and it'll be functioning as an app. But right now, it loads up pretty quick. And so then you're going to go in and you're going to browse. I created a sample data set there that's got mostly the um, data from the the, uh, the CAA group. So this is WoodGeo. That's the one that Charlie used in his initial data set. So you're going to go there. We've got some initial data quality and variable classification here. So whether it's things like text or date or factors or values. So this is an intermediate update here. I went through another big update, and I initially had this all set up so it would, and it does right now. It automatically sort of classifies the variable. Like here, it's his address, basically saying this is not a variable. It's not going to do you any good. And most of these other ones here are variables and would be relevant to a decision tree type model. So generally, it does better with that type of data. We can talk more about that. You can read through Charlie's presentation on that. So this is already a pretty clean data set, so there's no real issues here. This is just sort of the data laid out, giving you the first 10 rows, just showing you sort of what's in the data, some summary stats on the data. There's the price distribution. Charlie has that in his presentation here. So that's kind of all the code that went into building that. There's that initial market price distribution and the histogram. So then, okay, here is it is just a section not being used. It could be, if you need to do some transformations, but that's kind of where the merge mapper and column mapper are sort of taking over. But we could always add this in. It was just a feature that the code built in when it was initially building this, just as an option offered. So sort of work through all this. So now here is the available variables, and you also have the response variable. So typically here we want to find price, so that'll be the response variable. Charlie talks about that in his presentation. And there's also this temporal market variables, which is referring to the sales quarter and the days on market versus sold price asking price ratios. And again, I am not the expert on decision trees and the reasons why you might or might not include those. I think Charlie covers some of that in his presentation. But again, those are the things sort of to be discussed as you start, having the ability to use this on a daily basis. Pretty much every file you work on, almost, you should be able to just throw it in here and run it through this application and start getting comfortable with that. So let me stop bouncing around here and get back over to that app. So I've got it set up here to try and be fairly efficient and effective. Okay, so I'm going with select all option here because I only want to get rid of date sold, address, which it already, we can cover why it's still included in here, but I could probably set it just to automatically not even include it. That's probably the easiest thing. Let's see here. And price sold, because that's the variable we're looking for. We don't want to have it. So that's the response we're looking for, we don't want it as one of the variables. But all these other things are the things that were included in Charlie's presentation. So that's that. And then we need a subject. Oh, now before I jump across here, once you save this, if you're going to come back and do this multiple times with a similar market, and you're going to maybe establish some standards that you want to use that have given you good results, you can save that setting as a tree builder, and it'll pre-populate with today's date and the tree settings. That carry on here. Okay. So now the subject, you can get it from here. Again, you might have manually entered it. So on the next screen, it's populating, I think, with the first property in the data set. So this is not it yet. So we can either search it from the data here. So if it was in the data, but this example Charlie used was fictional, I think, or at least didn't give it a name. And again, that data is from the Woodlands data set from that Bruce Hahn shared in some of his presentations, and has sort of been a standard data set for these types of presentations and shared collaboration. Okay, so in this case, though, I've created to try and make this nice and simple. We want a base data set in here. You can test the app, make sure you understand how it works. You can, if you tweak and make changes, it's always a good one to come back to. That's a known functional and working data set. So I load Charlie's sample. This was his sample data set. And then, okay, so we've got that done. We've got this selected here. The next step is to, okay, we could save that subject property. We could download and save that. Straightforward there. And the next step is build the tree. Okay, so it pops up a little bit of data observation here. It says, and again, this is stuff that was through working with ChatGPT and Codex. This came up as, hey, you should have one of these warnings about the data based on what it was learning about decision trees and whatnot. So that's in there. So, okay, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to proceed with this. It will also pop a warning if there's like data that's just broken and won't let the app run properly, and then you can go back and fix it. But building the tree, okay, so there it goes. It pops up, built the tree, and now we have basically reduplicated exactly what Charlie had in his set here. So we can show, there's the decision tree. I'll zoom in a little bit on that. We've got sale quarter. So here's the first set of leaves, and it's either prior to 2020 Q3 or post 2020 Q3, et cetera, et cetera. And we can look at the app here and again sort of see that it's the same thing, 2020 Q3. And if you go right down here to the bottom, you've got less than or greater than 2,229 square feet for that node. Again, okay, the Charlie's is overlapped here, but that's 2229. Or something else we can see, 2607. Let's just check that set of leaves there. Yeah, so it reproduced it exactly. And then, so then the next section is the extracting the CMS. And so now we get to see what it decided was the, this is the node. So it says node 13. Okay, so I just had to go back in and do a fix up on the app here. It appeared I did not have the subject. Let's see here. To find the subject, didn't have a sale quarter for the subject. So that was messing up the model, and that's why the tree was correct, but the subject's determination was coming out saying, I think it was node 13, I think it was saying, and it was, so if I now go to this extract CMS section, we get the subject assigned to node 22, which matches Charlie's findings of node 22. And there was, I think Charlie mentioned an error in here, and maybe he was referring to the that he initially was including DOM and SPAP, sold price, asking price, and days on market. And maybe it didn't. It doesn't seem to clearly spell out that he excluded those. So I'm not sure that would be an error, or that is the error that he was put out the challenge to solve. But as I dig through this, maybe we find it somewhere else. And now I know this is the HTML version from September 2023, and the PDF version September, yeah, same date. So I'm pretty sure these are the same document, just one's in PDF, one's in Excel. We'll have to check in with Charlie on that. So anyways, that pretty much wraps up that model. There's some wording in here. You can download this CMS. It's just the basic description of what the CMS is. It's not all the 17 comparables. We could probably add that or whatever, or allow the user to select, again, through the process, the illustrative sales. But you can also download the tree plot there. And then the full report, it says here. I'll just quickly download that. And here's kind of the report. I think that's that. So this is what the report says. That's today's date, November 24th. We just produced this. It says comp selected 8. So I'm going to have to drill down on that again and clarify that. Subject node 22. I haven't sort of vetted this out for that it updated correctly when we updated the app and all that, but I didn't want to make a really long video, so I'm not sure in this take of the video if I covered also the column mapper, the merge mapper, which is there. We can go over that. And there's the decision tree model. That's the broken version there. Anyways, okay, well, again, so if anybody's got any questions or has some ideas, things they want to add, want to learn how to modify and how to tweak it and how to do this kind of process using the various AI models to tweak the app that we can build in Shiny or some other version, I look forward to it. All right, thanks. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.